right, welcome to episode 78. We're back after 75 years. Yes, we took a little break during the holidays, and so we're back. We're going to be talking about Disney stock rising, breaking records. We're going to be talking about the rise of the High Republic in Star Wars, WandaVision news, and more. Welcome to the Castles, Capes, and Clones vlogcast, where we discuss everything in the Disney universe, from Disney films to Marvel, from Pixar to Star Wars, from ABC to the Muppets. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. I am Loren, and I'm here with my cousin and co-pilot, Richard. Rich,
hello.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. Oh, well,
Yeah.
things are weird, but that's for a different kind of show.
I know, yeah. It is a weird time right now, for sure. For so many levels, but
Yep.
yeah.
But,
how were your holidays?
Uneventful. Sorry, I don't know how to describe it. It's just kind of like it came, it went, it happened.
Yeah. When I'm in dialysis, I always ask people how were their holidays. They're like, "Oh, it was quiet."
Yeah. I mean,
I
usually,
think that describes everybody's.
yeah, because usually at some point, either New Year's or Christmas or whatever, we have, because there's a lot of our friends are transplants from Chicago, so their families are usually back in Chicago and stuff. So we kind of end up being kind of the surrogate, and we invite people over, yada yada yada. But we couldn't invite anyone over this year,
Right.
so it was just us.
Yeah, that must have been sad for the people, the transplant people.
Yeah, I mean, feel bad about not being able to hang out with friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's even where I know, because I've said this before, I have all my employees live somewhere else in the country, in the world, right? The one thing that's, well, it's not really reassuring, but something to be aware of is that the way US handles everything right now, it's not too dissimilar from some other countries that my employees work from. But then again, there are some where they're like, so how's your holidays? I went to the beach, hang out with my friends. I'm like, oh, friends. I remember what that was like.
Right.
Because they took it seriously, and so they're fine. And it's like, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how was yours?
Quiet. It was quiet. Yeah, it was nice. I mean, I can't complain. It was nice holidays, and the important thing for me is that my family was together. Yeah. Nobody suffered any major illnesses or anything like that. So it was a nice holiday, but very quiet. So now I look forward to my birthday on Monday.
Oh my God, that's right. It's
I know,
almost lose track of what month it is.
I know. It's all of a sudden it's November. It's your birthday. Then it's Elijah's birthday. Then it's the holidays. Then it's my birthday, and then it's all over.
Anthony's birthday in there.
And Anthony's, yeah. Oh my God.
Hi, Anthony.
Sorry, Anthony. So anyway, yeah, just getting ready for the holidays. Before we start the show, though, I do want to let people know we're finally going to do our first giveaway. Yay!
Hey, there you go.
I'm going to give out the rules and show you what you're going to get on Wednesday of next Wednesday. What day is it today? Thursday? Yeah. So it's on
Thursday.
Wednesday. The Wednesday that will be coming up next week. It is going to be when
Wednesday next.
Yeah, I'll officially announce the giveaway, but I just wanted to put that in your head, and for the 13th, so you'll keep an eye out for that. So, yay!
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, let's start this show. We start our news from within the castle gates for our traditional traditional Disney news. So Soul is on track to unseat The Incredibles 2 as Pixar's second biggest film in China. I wonder what the first biggest film is. I actually don't know the answer to the question. But yeah, that's pretty interesting to know that it's doing so well in China. I don't even know how well it's doing here.
I mean, it's hard to say, with movies here because
exactly.
Is it in theaters? Like, did they release it both? Okay.
Oh no! You know what? No.
It's
only on Disney Plus.
Yeah. So
here, I think.
I don't know how I really don't even know how they measure streaming services, right? Because it's not like the Nielsen ratings of old, where they release all those kind of things. Like we always knew, like, oh, the Nielsen rating. According to the Nielsen ratings, this show was #1 last weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you measure that?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'd assume like Disney knows, but because it's not because the Nielsen's were kind of an independent thing. Disney doesn't have to technically, I guess, release that publicly all the time.
Yeah.
So, like Netflix, I don't think it really does. So
I don't even think that they use Nielsen's for Disney Plus.
Well, no, not Nielsen, but like something like they've got to know how many people are watching.
Yeah, they've got. Well, I mean, they must be doing well because their stocks have been breaking records because of Disney Plus. So it's got to be doing well. I mean, I don't know the metrics, but
that's the thing.
I would imagine that with little coming out over the holidays, that people went to watch. I mean, I watched it very early in the morning. I mean, obviously I was going to do that, but I think that families probably did it. What did you think of Soul?
I liked it. It was I will say it was the only probably Pixar movie that I didn't cry at.
Yeah, I know.
But it was more inspiring than anything. Especially, I'm also a musician, so it spoke to me on that level of just I'm trying to like not get into the actual specifics of that movie,
right,
just in case someone's seen it, but like
it
does deal with like what is your purpose but versus what is your passions and whatever. And it's a very positive movie.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. I wouldn't probably rank it in my top, but it's it's hard to rank all the Pixar films, but as far as like a music based film, I think Coco still holds.
Oh yeah, Coco is
above that one. Only because there's a lot more emotional tie to that than it was to this. This is more a kind of like a feel good movie kind of thing, right? It was like a nice reprieve.
Yeah, this one connected to me mentally. Like I got it, like I understood it. I appreciated it and everything like that. But yeah, I just didn't feel it here. I know that I've talked to other people who did, and kind of them feeling like it represented them on their journey. So it does represent some people, and whatever it was a beautiful. I mean, like all of that stuff in the I forget the name of. In fact, I
Yeah.
even looked it up, and it's like not the land of before, but before
I
something
don't remember. I
before.
remember the name.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
all of that, and the Jerrys and the Terrys, and,
Yeah.
I just thought that was very, very clever what they did there. And it's a Pete Docter film. You gotta love a Pete Docter film.
Yeah.
He's very, very creative. So yeah, it's not one of my favorites, but I did enjoy it quite a bit.
Nice.
All right.
What was I gonna say? There was a show on Disney Plus that went into some of the making of it. It wasn't a series on it, but there was a whole bunch of episodes.
Yeah, Inside Pixar.
Yeah, that was it.
The one with had one with Kemp Powers and Stephen Hunter and some other people that I can't remember, but yeah, I found that a fascinating documentary series.
Yeah,
if that's what you call it. It was just nice to see different perspectives from different artists and different creatives. That I very much enjoyed that series, and it also did give me a different perspective on Soul, because there were a lot of people who worked on Soul in the in those in that series. So
yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What you were going to say about the series?
No, I was going to say that there was. It's kind of similar where I saw those before I saw the movie, and so when you see the designs and the kind of story elements, and you understood where they came from.
Yeah,
it added a little bit to it also. So
yeah, totally. I totally agree.
Yarp.
All right. Well, now we're going to go on to sad news. I was going to put this at the top, but I didn't want to start us with sad news. But Disney legend Ron Dominguez passed away, and for those who don't know who Ron Dominguez was, he actually started at Disneyland back in the day. Like, his family owned a lot of the land that Disneyland is built on. And in fact, they still have one of their palm trees. It's the Dominguez palm tree is still located in Adventureland near the Fast Pass area for Indiana Jones.
Huh.
And yeah,
that's cool.
So yeah, they still have one of their trees there.
Nice.
And yeah, it's sad. It's like all these legends passing away.
Yeah.
But yeah, just wanted to give a shout out and wish his family and friends condolences, and that he rests in peace.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so as I mentioned before, Disney stock has been breaking records, while Comcast, AT&T, and Netflix are all down. It's very interesting, because you would think that Disney over this time would have suffered so much because of the theme parks, because of not being able to have movies out there, but because of Disney Plus, it has just shattered records, and that's an awesome thing.
I mean, it can only get better. Obviously, Mandalorian is the top. They haven't even reached all of the Marvel fans yet. They've been just waiting for this month, right?
I know, yeah. In pretty much a week from now.
Yeah. So it's amazing that it's been able to utilize Disney Plus in the wake of what's going on, especially Disneyland still closed, movies not in theaters, even Disney World, they're not operating at peak capacity, and that's a big moneymaker for Disney.
Mm-hmm.
It boggles my mind how like successful streaming services are.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't, because it's such a weird business model that I'm not sure how that translates, right? Because it's subscription based, so it's kind of like, well, that's why like I'm curious to see what the numbers are for like viewing and downloads or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you know how many people are subscribing, and I guess like how. Yeah, I just don't know how they measure what success in whatever, and like how they equate subscribers and new subscribers to specifics in programming and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
But good for them.
Yeah, it's incredible. So
I'm surprised about Netflix.
I am too, because I would have thought that would have been competitive with Disney Plus. But
considering it's been like, but then again, like what are they? Are they just talking about how much money they're making off of it? Because Netflix has been around forever. Like I just feel like everyone has it, right? So it's like, how do you get or base anything off of like new subscribers when you've been around for I don't know how long. Like I remember having a Netflix account before they went streaming, and I had DVDs and stuff.
Right.
So it's like I've had an account forever.
Mm-hmm.
And like everyone I know, if I go like, hey, did you watch this on Netflix? Like most people I know would either say no or yes, but none of them will ever say, well, I don't have Netflix. Right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things that everyone kind of has. So
yeah, it's like having cable. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Unless all these new channel like HBO Max, Disney Plus, Apple TV, because they're they have new programming and whatever. That's just taking from Netflix, because everyone's like,
yeah,
we're done with Netflix or something.
Right.
But like, it's been a while though. I will say this. I think it's been a while since it could be this pandemic also, where I don't have like regular meetups with other friends, but like even like around my employees and whatever, I don't hear a lot about specific Netflix shows as a water cooler topic, where it used to be Stranger Things or things like that. Or was that show in the beginning of the pandemic that everyone was watching? That was but that crazy guy, the cats.
Oh, Tiger King.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
That whole thing. Lately, it's been they need to watch The Mandalorian. Like a Queen's Gambit, I guess.
That is true, because I can't think of anything like people have mentioned to me. Oh, so and so season had started for such and such show, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know. I didn't realize that. But there hasn't been anything that people have said you have to watch this show, like with Tiger King, as you mentioned, and Stranger Things. I haven't heard a lot of people saying that about different shows. So maybe they have come to a point where they are not, developing the kind of content that is capturing the minds of people. I mean, no matter what you thought about Mandalorian, everybody was talking about season 2, especially that finale. I mean, everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's trending, I don't, whatever.
Yeah, I know that after that episode, I kept getting messages from people saying, "I need to decompress over this." I have so many questions. And I mean, they really did it with that one. And you're right. The Disney Plus, really, the back has been built on The Mandalorian. And yes, they have their entire library, or most of their library, on so that makes it very palatable for the for families and things like that. So it's just a great place for people to congregate.
I feel like
it'll be very interesting once the Marvel shows start. Once all of these higher end programs start going online. I mean, how am I going to cope?
Right, like what are we gonna do if more than one Marvel / Star Wars show is on, and we have
at the same time
a podcast to do about it? We might have to combine things or do something.
We'll have to, something like that.
But I mean, like, as sad as it is to say, like the pandemic probably helps them too because they're a family-friendly channel.
Yes.
Like you really don't have to monitor your kids if they're just watching Disney Plus, whereas Netflix. There's going to be some questionable content, HBO Max, questionable content, Apple TV also. So it's like there needs to be some kind of parental supervision with the other channels.
Yeah.
Whereas Disney, what's the worst you're going to get? A PG-13 movie, probably. Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
It probably doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But, we'll find out in a week what the Marvel team has planned for the world and what.
Oh my God!
If that's gonna be the next. Oh my God! Did you see this? Kind of thing. So, I'm excited about it.
I'm very excited. We'll talk about this in a few minutes. Oh my God! Very excited. Okay, so let's move on to the next story. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Star Stephanie Beatrice joins Disney's Encanto. Now, I don't think she's going to be the main character.
No.
But given her, I don't watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I have seen parts of it, and I know.
So you're familiar with her?
Yeah, okay. I'm familiar with her, and so I think that she's funny. And I'm sure that is going to be somebody that will bring great humor to the film. Yeah. So I think that's great that they're, it's interesting that they, at least, news came out about a character that isn't the main character, but maybe they're still, they do really extensive searches for the main character. So,
I mean, I feel like, well, maybe not. I feel like we knew more about. I'm blanking. Like, especially because usually it's for these kind of films where the main character is usually younger or whatever. They usually cast kind of new talent-ish.
But, like Moana.
But then you have your supporting cast is where they bring in, a bigger name, so to speak. So. That makes sense that we hear about like that because we're like, we need this character. Like, all right, well, here's an actress that we know that's signed on.
Because I think even with the Little Mermaid, we had heard about Awkwafina and Jason Tremblay and Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy we knew before. We knew anything about
Halle Berry. Halle Bailey. Oh my God!
I just you just want to say Halle Berry.
I know Halle Berry can't. Because even when I was like trying to catch myself, I still said it.
Yeah.
So
apologies to Halle Bailey.
I know.
But
I know. I feel bad. I think though that she will become a name that people will. Definitely, differentiate. Like Emma Stone, she for the longest time she was the poor man's Lindsay Lohan, and now
that's so weird. That's so weird to think about.
I know.
And now she's
Emma Stone is like. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say like now she's the. Oh, what Lindsay Lohan wishes she was.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, not saying that Halle Berry will, fade into obscurity, but I think that Halle Bailey will come into her own, and we won't be having these kind of mix-ups with her.
Right. Yeah, looking forward to that too.
Yeah.
Do we know when that's coming out? Have they said? I don't know if I remember ever hearing.
Wait, which one? The Little Mermaid or
The Little Mermaid? The Little Mermaid. I'm assuming it's this year.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's this year.
There wasn't any news about it in the call, was there?
Yeah, I think that they did talk about it, but
maybe just read more of the cast, but I don't remember to be released.
Yeah.
Blah.
Yeah, because they did. I think that they officially announced Awkwafina and Melissa McCarthy.
That's right, yeah.
Tremblay.
But yeah. I don't think they ever said when.
Yeah, and Javier Bardem.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it's live action, so it's like.
Right.
How do you? But then I'd imagine. I want to imagine that they're going to use the volume or something similar for a lot of that.
Yeah, for under the sea things.
Right. I wonder, because I don't know if they went into production yet.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there was some complications because of COVID that they went to that and had to kind of rework how they filmed.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That'd be interesting to find out, how many movies that were scheduled to be in production in 2020 that are very effects laden, or not even effects laden, just was very dependent on the locations and big sets and all these kind of things, and they're like, well, we can't do that, so let's try out the volume.
Yeah. So. I mean, I think the volume is going to become more of a standard in the industry than, faster than we know it. I mean, it was godsend during COVID, and I think that it's going to be, I think more and more people are going to use it, especially within the Disney.
Marvel, Disney.
Disney, Star Wars universe where, this technology was developed, by a Disney thing. And, All right. Well, let's move on to Nick Offerman and Brendan Gleeson are both being eyed for the role of Smee for the Peter Pan and Wendy live action movie.
Which one?
I know. Brendan Gleeson, though, seems like Smee to me.
I think it's weird. I think with Nick Offerman he's so tied to his character from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
That we just imagine the character from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm just imagining this guy, being, all right, Captain Hook.
But I mean, he is an actor, so.
Yeah, he's an actor, obviously, and he's a funny actor, and I'm sure he'd be great as me. But in my mind, if I had to choose between the two of them, Brendan Gleeson immediately snaps into my head as me, just because of his role in Harry Potter, and I just kind of see that role for him.
But we'll see.
I'd be happy with either. It's not
I feel like I'm underdog rooting for Nick Offerman because I want to see him do something that breaks away from what he's kind of known as.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
still,
I'd be happy.
Whichever. Yeah. Right. So.
Yeah. Good times there. All right, so Afton Corbin and Rosanna Sullivan will be developing and directing projects for Pixar. So Alphona Corbin was she worked on Soul and what else? They're both story writers, and I can't remember what else she worked on. But she also helped with the story of Loop, the Spark short. And then Rosanna Sullivan has worked in at Pixar for a while, and she did the short Kit Bull, the Spark short Kit Bull. So both of them are women of color, and so that's a pretty awesome thing. Pixar's record with women has not been great. I think Brenda Gleeson was co-directed Brave, but ever since then they haven't had a woman director. So Domi Shi, who directed Bao, is directing the movie Turning Red, and she'll be the second woman and the first woman of color to direct a feature. And the fact that we're having more women of color being able to develop films and direct them, I think is great. Like the Spark Short program that they developed, I think was an amazing thing, because it allowed people who are not directors to be able to direct their own films and show a more diverse side of things. And I think that that's a really great thing. I'm very excited about their whatever projects that they'll be doing.
Yeah, it's the Spark Shorts program, or whatever you want to call it, is definitely like when they announced it and when they started doing it, I always felt like that's a great way to find talent. I would imagine directing a feature-length animated feature is daunting. I mean, I kind of have an idea of what directing live action is, but I can't fathom what it's like to direct animation. It's like a whole different kind of skill set. And to me, I've directed like some short films and stuff like that, so I know what to expect. I don't no idea what to expect if I was to go in and do something for an animated feature. So giving that kind of like opportunity and also the experience, I think is a great way to kind of go about things. It's kind of the way I feel about at least the Star Wars shows. I feel like it's a good way for some people to kind of like dive into and play in the Star Wars sandlot without the pressures and whatnot of doing a major Star Wars feature. So
I feel like all branches of Disney are trying to really do a better job at incorporating women and women of color, people of color, into their work. And I think that it's exciting. It's very exciting. And people who think that this is destroying America are wrong. I mean, they're just wrong. It's enhancing America.
Yeah, like anyone who thinks that like these kinds of like I think with pop culture or superheroes, sci-fi has never really looked around at a convention, because it is very diverse.
There are a lot of women.
A lot of women.
Yeah.
So I mean, like even when we go, like half our party are the women in our lives. So it's like,
that's true. Whenever we go, it's like half of our group is women.
Yeah, it's reality. It's what's So it's a long time coming. So
for sure. So anyway. Yeah, all right. So Oaks Fagley, who played Pete in Pete's Dragon, the remake, is being eyed for the role of Lampwick in the live-action Pinocchio.
I can see
And
that.
yeah, I can see that too. He's got that kind of impish charm to him that I think will lend well to that character. And he's got to be older. I mean, obviously, he's got to be older than he was. I can't even remember what year the live action
Pete's Dragon came out.
I mean, the remake. Yeah, you know.
Right top of my head. Nope.
Can you do the Googles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2016.
Okay, so that was 4 years ago. So let's say that.
I mean, that came out in 2016. So he probably filmed it in 2015.
Right.
So we're talking 5 years ago. So however old he was then, he's
5 years. I don't remember 9, 10. So he's probably maybe in his early teens now, and which is just the right kind of age for Lampwick.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, so I think that'll be good. I'm excited to see him play this role.
I'm trying to see if there's like a more recent picture of him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Does he look like Lampwick?
Yeah, like it's obviously he lost his kind of boyish. So but he still looks young.
Yeah.
For I think his age. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna have to look him up later.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, well now let's go on to the Clone Cantina for our Star Wars news. In Rogue Squadron news, Patty Jenkins has revealed that the treatment for the movie is complete. Additionally, Chris Pine, who stars in World War
84.
I know, World War 84. Wonder Woman 84 spoke about it with Patty Jenkins and said that she talked to me about it and it sounds really, really great. What that means, who knows?
Well, he did also specify that not my involvement, but he kind of, discussed, I think, the story.
Yeah.
I think she already had the ideas for it. Then, and just to also clarify, a treatment doesn't mean a script. It just means this is what her pitch is for what the movie is.
I see.
Sometimes treatments can be like a little bit more detailed than a rough outline. So, but this is definitely like the first. This is where like the foundation is. This is what, where she goes in with, this is what the movie is going to be about, and here are probably some of the big set pieces of the story. And then, from there, I'm sure it goes through like talks with the story group and Kathleen Kennedy. And, I hope Dave Filoni at some point is also involved in just like making sure it's Star Wars. You know what I mean? And then, if everyone's like awesome, then, the script kind of gets written by whoever.
Menon. By Menon.
Yeah, by Menon.
What was I going to say? I hope that the Patty Jenkins detractors, don't screw up things, or that they don't, start complaining about her directing Rogue Squadron and things like that because of Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, I liked Wonder Woman 84. I mean, I get what people are saying, but I don't blame Patty Jenkins for some of these things.
I'm not a big fan of it, but it's a DC movie.
Yeah.
And it fits very well in the DC universe, in the movie universe that they've made. It fits in well with Batman v Superman, Justice League, the first Wonder Woman, Aquaman. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in those movies, so it makes no sense. But as a whole, it feels like it's part of that same universe. So
yeah, I mean, she's still beholden to Jeff Johns, to the
it's
Warner,
a Disney.
Warner Brothers
It's a Warner Brothers DC gig
extravaganza,
and that comes with all the things that happens over there. You know, I said it too. Like, you know, people are like, "Oh, what do you feel about her directing Rosewater now?" I'm like, Jon Favreau directed one of my least favorite Marvel movies, Iron Man 2. So I'm fine with him directing and heading The Mandalorian.
Yes.
You know, not to mention, you know, his other stuff. A lot of his other stuff is still he's one of my favorite directors and creators.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's got such a diversity of you know, things that he does. I mean, it's incredible.
And it's not like, you know, whatever you think personally of Wonder Woman 84, there are a lot of people who love that movie. So it's not like it's
me included.
So it's not like it's like everyone's like, oh, that was a bomb. Like, has its fans, like just like all the other DC movies. Like, I've been vocal that I'm not the biggest fan of those movies, but there are people who are, and that's awesome for them. Great, cool. Like what you like. But you can't judge a director and creator solely off one thing.
Right.
I mean, you know, who of our greatest, you know, directors of all time don't always knock it out of the park. Like Nolan is a great director, but you know, there's a lot of mixed bag on Tenet and all those kind of things. You know, Spielberg definitely has some doozies in there. Scorsese, also Coppola. So it's like, not everything you do in life is going to be a home run. Like sometimes you strike out, and then you learn from those experiences and move forward.
Yeah.
You know, Patty seemed like it's very obvious that she's very enthusiastic about the world she's going into. You know, Star Wars on one hand, and also, you know, being the daughter of a fighter pilot.
Yeah,
she's going to bring some like maybe not first-hand experience, but like the experiences she's learned from her father.
Her father,
not
for
life,
sure.
Whatever. So I'm looking forward to what she comes up with.
Yeah. And I mean, she's proven herself to be a great action director, a great director that works well in a franchise setting as well. So I think that's speaks a lot to her. I'm very, very excited to what she comes up with. So
yeah, I would say any detractors, like, have you ever not had a bad day?
Yeah, I know.
Like, come on. If she had a string of things that were terrible, then maybe that'd be a thing. But you know, Wonder Woman 84 is still, you know, a good DC movie. I still like it better than Batman v Superman.
You know, it's funny. Yeah, I definitely way more than that. You know, it's funny the first kind of action sequence with Wonder Woman in the mall, I thought was a great moment. There were a lot of people who said it was so campy. I go, that was the point. It's 1984. That's why I wrote, you know, in my Facebook, it reminded me of Superman the movie, because it was this campiness that I enjoyed from that movie. You know what I mean? Like, I wish
that DC just stuck with that. With that kind of aesthetic, that kind of feeling throughout all their, especially with a Wonder Woman movie and a Superman movie. Leave Batman to be the dark
Knight.
Like, Superman and Wonder Woman should be a lot more bright and hopeful and positive.
Yeah.
Not mired in like too deep emotion darkness stuff. That's Batman.
Yeah.
You know, again, like Syndrome says in Incredibles, you know, if everyone, well, I mean, not this exactly, but if everyone is Batman, no one is Batman. right? You can't have Superman be emo and Batman be emo and Wonder Woman be emo. It's got to have they work as a team, that trinity, because of their differences. So
absolutely.
That's why I really hope DC learns from what works. Like if people say like this is my favorite part, and it's all that mall scene and the what's up that one
opening. Oh my god, that opening was was the best part of the movie.
Shazam. Like if they stick with that
Shazam,
that kind of thing, and like even the fun parts of Aquaman, you know, keep that. Lose the emo-ness. Not everything has to be Nolan Dark Knight.
Exactly.
Right? Let your characters be their characters, right?
Yeah.
And then when you bring them together, it makes it all the more special when you bring in the darkness from Batman, the Boy Scoutiness of Superman, and then the fun and love of Diana.
Yeah.
Into a movie together that brings in all these other heroes.
Yeah. Totally.
That's what you do. Listen to us, DC.
Listen to us. Listen to us.
Dang it.
All right. So moving on, Deadline has reported that Kevin Feige has chosen who will write his contribution to the Star Wars universe, and it is Michael Waldron, who's the head writer and creator of the Loki series, and who was involved with the rewrite for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. He has been tapped to write the first draft of this unnamed Feige Star Wars feature. Bum, bum, bum.
I mean, from what I've heard, Loki's already kind of set to have a season 2.
Yeah.
So they got to be really confident in that. Like I'm like phase 4. Is this phase 4 of Marvel or phase 5? Phase 4. 4, 3. Whatever this new phase is of Marvel.
Yeah.
I feel like we're heading in such a weird direction where I don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds all fantastical and crazy. Like even the names of the movies, like the Multiverse of Madness, Quantum Mania, Love and Thunder. It sounds like it's like like we've dealt with the dark and like emotional roller coaster of the first 10 years. Right? I think this is the time where like, all right, let's just embrace that weird time period of Marvel where it's just all these crazy notions going on.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. So I don't even know where I was going with that, but like, I guess going back to Star Wars, like I feel like this might also kind of bring Star Wars into a new, not say direction, but like another part of the Star Wars universe that we can explore, right?
Yeah. I wonder if he'll be doing something in the High Republic
era. I don't know. Like it sounds like it's possible. I have yet to start it. I have it. I'm going to start it this weekend.
Yeah.
And to plug, I do want to do some kind of thing on our channel.
Yeah, you definitely should.
I think just because I know there's going to be a lot of people who do not read.
Yeah, like me.
Or don't have time to read it. So I want to do a thing where it's like part review, but also I think I'm not going to do like, I think what I'm going to do is go a couple chapters and have a video of just what happened, introduce you to the characters, and give you the big plot points, but then all the little nuances, all the little details. If you want to dive into it, go ahead. But I will tell you the story, what's going on. If you don't want to invest 13 plus hours into either listening to it like I'm going to do, or
Right.
however long it takes to read.
Yeah.
Or, maybe listen to the first couple or watch the first couple episodes and it strikes your fancy. Give the book a go.
Yeah.
So, but it's like I feel like it's that's going to be the next thing. I think and I've tried to avoid as much as I could, but from the people I trust on, like people I follow, they're pretty excited about this book that they've read it. Or not even that this the first. It's like the first novel, the first kids book, and the first comics. Like they're all excited about it. Like excited in the fact that they've read it already, and they're like, "This is amazing."
Oh wow.
This is gonna be a fun ride because it's Star Wars, but it's a whole new Star Wars at the same time, right? So
it'll be really interesting, just because we had been so invested in the Skywalker saga that how people will catch on to that. But then you think about the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian really isn't part of the Skywalker saga. It takes place around the Skywalker saga, but there's nothing really that connects them, directly.
Right. I mean, true. There's the finale of the second season, but that's still not even what's going on. And even with like the Book of Boba Fett, I don't see that tying really closely to the Skywalker saga. So like, and Marvel before all this used to do comic books for Star Wars. Even in the EU, the books that are now legends, there's some crazy stories that go on in Marvel. Before anyone's kind of like, well, George would never like do these kind of things. Look up the cartoon that George Lucas was developing that was a comedy. I can't remember what it was called now, but they had like you can find clips online, but it's literally a silly take on Star Wars, but he said it's canon. So it's like George Lucas was not afraid to go into the weird parts of the Star Wars universe. So I mean,
people always say so and so wouldn't do such and such. I mean, like you don't know. Like all these people who claim to know what Walt Disney wouldn't have done. It's like you don't know that. You don't know that he would have hated Star Wars. It's like he probably would have invented Star Wars. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that people just don't want to. It's like they go somewhere in their mind, and I don't know.
It's a closed-minded mentality of like everything needs to be the way it is. And like everything can still be the way it is, but also it can expand and stuff. So like I like George Lucas has said that when he was shopping around
Star Wars
for Star Wars, like everyone thought, in hindsight, people said, "Oh, this probably should have been a Disney movie."
Right.
That led to his partnership with Disney to do Star Tours. And look where we are today. Like Star Wars is now part of Disney, and it makes sense to me that it is. So just go back to like, do you think this could be a High Republic? Yes, it could be. But I wouldn't be adverse to it taking place after all of this. Like, I do definitely want to stay away from the Skywalker saga era and also the Rey era. Like, I feel like that can be told. Like, I don't think that cast is coming back for a while. If they do, it'll be years from now, and I think hopefully we'll get some kind of like closure to their era, and we get books and stuff, video games maybe about her and whatever happens after that.
Yeah.
But I think they can go way in the future and also
Mhm.
do some crazy stuff that, like, have, like, there's ripples that are felt from the Skywalker saga and Rey's story.
Yeah.
That, whatever kind of Jedi she forms, or whatever she does with all that Jedi-ness,
Mhm.
that is influenced by the future. So
I hope that, like, eventually they'll come back, like when they are, the same age that
like
Mark
Carrie,
Hamill was. Yeah, and yeah, that I would love to see them at that, part of their life, and I think that would be kind of a really incredible legacy to have, where they just continue on with that. I think that would be a lot of fun, but maybe
I think,
some people don't agree.
Like, you don't bring in Feige to do a one-off. You don't bring Feige to do, like, this is either going to be the culmination of, and this is a possibility, but I don't think so, that he's also the one who's going to bring in the Mandalorian, the Republic, Ranger, whatever it's called, Rangers of the Republic, New Republic show, the other show, Ahsoka.
Yeah.
All the shows that I said that they're going to somehow tie in together into a super event. Like, that might be it, but I don't think you bring in Feige to finish something. You bring in Feige to start something.
Yeah.
And so this might be it might be a brand new era. That's why I think, I think the High Republic is going to be its thing.
Yeah.
Maybe video games and stuff, maybe a movie, one-off movie, maybe. But I think you bring in Feige to start something new.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hoping it's going to be way in the past or way in the future. So
yeah. All right. Well, speaking of the High Republic, the highly anticipated High Republic event has finally launched through Lucasfilm Publishing. And you want to take us through what has been released, Richard?
Released. So this week, The Light of the Jedi came out. That is the novel by Charles Soule. And then they also announced that it is a trilogy, and there are 3 phases. So this is not a case of, well, we started it, we don't know where it's going. They know exactly where it's going. They've already planned out. There are 3 big novels that kind of follow it, right? And there's be 3 phases to it. How long that lasts, they didn't really say. They didn't really go into much detail about, like, when some of the stuff is being released, but so it is 3 phases. We do know that, I think, the Acolyte series takes place at the end-ish of the High Republic. So it might all lead up to that, or who knows? But they said it's pretty much books, comics, and magazines. So the Star Wars Insider has little stories in that magazine as well that take place. And they've said that you don't need to read all of it. You don't need to start with one specific thing, because the big novels might be a little bit too much for kids, but the kids ones are definitely easier for people. And they even said,
I'm
like,
sure that's why they decided to divide them up.
At the same time, like, the young adult stuff is not, too out of the realm of adults reading it. One of my favorite Star Wars books is a young adult novel, and it's Lost Stars.
Right. Well, also, if you think about it, if people didn't read Harry Potter, then where would this universe be right now?
Right. So I've like, so that came out. A young adult novel came out by, I think, by Justina Ireland came out this week as well, and I think the first couple issues of the comic came out.
Yeah.
I've said it before, like I haven't dived into it yet, and I've been avoiding a lot of stuff.
Spoilers.
So yeah, because there's already like some of the people I follow on YouTube are already like, we have our review, and because they got advanced copies.
Oh yeah.
So they've
already.
Yeah, and I know one of them who I definitely kind of think alike with. Like he's very, very like he's like, this is one of the best Star Wars. Like he reads all of them.
Wow.
Right? And he's like, he's been dying to talk about it because he thinks it's so good. So I'm excited to dive into it this weekend.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what you think. Do they have any of the DK books out?
I do not know yet. No.
Okay.
I don't know when those are coming out. I'm expecting probably spring.
Okay. Because I would like to get that. That sometimes helps me put things into perspective and things like that. I love those DK books.
Yeah.
I would imagine. What are they called? Doran Kingsley.
Is that what DK stands for? I don't know what DK stands for.
Yeah, it's something like that.
But I'd imagine they'd want some of these books to come out and have people read them before they come out with any of their like guides or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like I do know also, like it does. There are the Jedi, but then the Nihil, which is what they announce as the big bad. But there's another like group of bad guys that are like sentient plant-based species. So, like when I saw some of the things, I'm like, so it's like Swamp Thing. So
they're like what?
Like Swamp Thing. But,
Swamp Thing.
Yeah. But it's almost, it sounds like it's almost like their version of the Borg.
Yeah.
Because they are plants and they share a kind of like root system kind of thing, that they're like almost like it's one hive mind.
Oh, interesting.
So it reminds me kind of like Borgish, but it's, salad instead of machinery. But like the young adult books and the comics, there are through lines, right? Some of the characters you meet in the novel, the younger ones especially, you'll follow their story into their books, and then even some of the younger ones will follow them. So it all is tied together. There is a plan, because we kind of knew from their first presentation months ago that all these writers sat down for a long time, like over a couple of years, and talked this out and planned it, and and then they're all seem to be very much in touch with each other. And so it definitely feels like no one's going to go off and do some weird stuff that no one knows. Like everyone knows where everything is going, so they can all plan accordingly, but also gives them, obviously the freedom to write their stories. So I'm excited. The fact that they have a long-term goal and a plan set. Like it's not an open-ended kind of thing where they're like, we started it, who knows how it's going to end. They kind of know how it's going to end. So yeah, looking forward to it.
I can't wait for your podcast. So definitely start that for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on, Galaxy's Edge at the Disney parks is rumored to be incorporating the Mandalorian and Rogue Squadron. And I am not mad at it, actually. I think it makes a lot of sense. The Mandalorian is perhaps even more popular than the sequel trilogy itself. And I don't have any metrics on that, but I'm just saying, I think that a lot more people talk about the Mandalorian than the sequel trilogy. So, I know there's always going to be people who are going to say, well, it doesn't fit the timeline or whatever. But to the average Joe that goes to, they're not. It's just like at what is that? What is it called again? Launch Bay. Launch Bay. You have like Darth Vader and Boba Fett meeting with, Chewbacca and Rey, and
Yeah.
Nobody says, well, Darth Vader shouldn't be here because Rey is here or whatever. Or remember when Tomorrowland was themed to Star Wars, and they had they had the Jedi show with Vader and Darth Maul
and Kylo Ren and whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think Galaxy's Edge started as like, okay, this is going to be set during this time and whatever, but it doesn't necessarily need to be beholden to that.
No.
I mean, it's still a theme park, and it's still a big land where they can adapt. Like, they made it generic enough that they can change things depending on what's going on in the universe. Like, it's not always going to be The Mandalorian. They have a bunch of shows coming out, so maybe at some point they'll switch out some stuff, and then whatever. As long as the land itself is immersive and it feels like Star Wars. For what they've intended it to be like, it'll work. Like, and I'm obviously a pretty hardcore Star Wars fan, but I'm not going to be mad if all of a sudden I see Boba Fett and Rey like walking around. Yeah, like, cool, we're on Star Wars land. I'm not going to sit there and go like, you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, like, start throwing rocks.
Yeah, right. Like, force push this, Rey. As a kid, I wouldn't have imagined that existing anyway. So it's like,
exactly.
And it's still a place that's supposed to inspire kids for the most part. And they're not going to really like, oh, what is Grogu doing here with Dio?
Yeah, I mean, if people get their Baby Yoda meet and greet, I think that nobody will care. I mean, it's
and they can totally do something like, what was it? They had they had BB-8 at some place, but you couldn't like touch BB-8, but it was there moving and whatever. It's like put like Grogu on a little pedestal or something.
Yes.
Kind of like if you watched the Mandalorian season 2, the making of the gallery.
Yes.
Where Robert Rodriguez is playing guitar with Grogu, and Grogu's just kind of like
rocking out.
All you need is Grogu sitting on a rock.
Yeah.
And reacting the way they were. I'd be fine with that. You know what I mean?
It would be cool if they had like a puppeteer doing it, Yeah. Like, oh God, I'm already planning for them. Baby Yoda meet and greet has to happen.
I just like whatever they do. I hope they bring in more characters. Like, if we're going to do this, I want to see the Frog Lady walking around. I want to see more droids. Definitely a Mandalorian.
Like, they don't even have to be named characters. Like, if we can just have like some Twi'lek and Rodian, or whoever just wandering by, I think that would be so cool.
A Togruta, someone. Yeah. So to make it look like Star Wars universe, you need the denizens of Star Wars universe. Something that's more familiar than just
some Gamorrean guards.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, some of that stuff could be hard to do and whatever, but come on, it's Disney. You have Mickey Mouse, Goofy walking around in those big outfits. Understand, Florida's hot, but Mickey's still there. Like you
Right.
can't have Disneyland or Disney World without those characters.
Right.
So it's doable.
Well, it's funny because. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It's like he's gonna do it in a smart way, you know.
Yeah. It's funny that Avengers Campus is, they've been billing it, having all of these characters out and the shows, and why can't they do that for Galaxy's Edge? I mean, they've got the space and they've got those areas in which they can do shows.
That was one of the like from what I've read, that's one of the things that was rumored, that they're going to have like a kind of show.
Yeah, they need to.
Yeah, and like they might replace the Echelon, the TIE fighter looking ship, with like the Razor Crest, which I'm like,
oh, that would be
could, but I'm like, that space isn't that big for unless they kind of they do it the way I think they kind of do. It's like it's not the whole ship that you see.
Yeah.
Because like the Slave One is not much smaller than the Millennium Falcon, so I'm going to assume that it's similar in size to the Razor Crest.
Right.
So, like, it's not a small ship, but who knows? I would love to see, like a Mandalorian. I'd love to see someone like Fennec Shan walk around, like I said, or even just, someone looks like the Frog Lady. Someone that looks
if they have Ahsoka Tano wandering around one day, I will pee in my pants. Like I will go and hunt her down to get photos with her every time.
Bo-Katan.
Yeah, Bo-Katan.
Whatever Sasha
Bo-Katan,
Banks is.
Bo-Katan's helmet is so cool in live action.
You know who else could be walking around if they're doing the Mandalorian era? Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, right. Young Luke like youngish Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Put him in a meet and greet.
Right? In that black.
Yeah. I'm not one to do a lot of like character pictures or whatever. I will go meet Luke Skywalker.
Right. I know that I took you on your meet and greet with Ray, and you enjoyed meeting Ray.
It's cool. So
anyway,
I go for it.
Yeah, I hope they do it. I really do. I mean, it's their biggest show right now. It's the one thing that everybody's talking about in terms of Star Wars, and they've got this whole land there.
Use it.
Incorporate it in there. I think that would be great. And then that way they can have the merchandise and the whatever over there. Yeah.
Sell some edible eggs in a vat.
Yes. Oh my God. Wouldn't that be fun? That would
Seriously?
be kind of a cool. I would buy it.
They just need to make a boba drink. Just like
a boba. Yeah. Make it out of boba.
They can make it out of boba. So
yeah.
Do it, Star Wars.
Oh my God, that would be
Disneyland, Disney World.
Actually, that would be a totally great boba drink. Is like the egg, and they put it in
put it in the thing that looks like
a canister. Yeah. Oh my God, why don't we work for?
We got ideas.
I know. We got the ideas down. Come on, Disney.
I live right here.
Right. All right. Okay. So now let's move on to our try on our capes and cowls for Marvel news. I literally am sweating with excitement for knowing that in just about a week, like a week and one day, we are going to have WandaVision, the first Marvel thing in over a year. And
that's right. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's been confirmed for 9 episodes. A new theme song has been written by Kirsten Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez. Yes, the writers of Frozen, Coco, and other magical pieces.
And Avenue Q.
Avenue Q, yes, Avenue Q. And then it also says that a listing indicated for WandaVision showed that the premiere will be a 2-episode premiere. So my mind is being blown. Have you seen? I watched what's her name, Elizabeth Olsen on Jimmy Kimmel the other day, and they played a clip from it. Did you see that clip?
I've been avoiding everything. Ever since I think this for a couple weeks now. Like I stopped watching clips and whatever because I just want to take it all. I want to take most of it in before anything kind of influences my expectations or whatever. I just want to go into going like I have no idea. As much new stuff as possible. So I've been avoiding all the new stuff that's been coming out.
Yeah, I can imagine. There's just one thing that I'll say about it that is not going to give anything away, but they do have a laugh track to the show.
I mean, I imagine that you don't bring in the Lopez's to do a serious kind of thematic thing.
No, they're going to.
So I'm something. Like, they're going to write something very sitcom-y.
Yeah.
Because that's what it looks like. It looks like a sitcom.
Exactly.
With some weird stuff going on. So I'm looking forward to what this is and what they've come up with as honestly, probably the first Marvel theme song. Like not music, but like a theme song, like
an actual theme, since maybe Spider-Man.
I'm about to say since Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
So I love those guys.
I think that they're brilliant. So.
I cannot wait for this. I don't know if it's going to be the same as The Mandalorian, where each episode is as long as it needs to be, or if they're going to go with a more traditional, like a 40-something-ish long episode or an hour-long episode or whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that'll dictate my Thursday/Friday morning that day, whether or not I'm going to stay up for an hour or two.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot wait.
I know. I'm just so excited for the series. And Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany just seem so great in everything that I've seen them in so far. Especially Elizabeth Olsen. I mean, a lot of people made fun of her as an addition to Marvel Cinematic Universe and didn't take her very seriously until, Infinity War and Endgame. And now, she's really going to get a chance to shine in these episodes in a really weird and, I think, wonderful way. I'm going to stay up no matter what. I'm just going to stay up and
there's no way I'm not going. I mean, I did it for Mandalorian. I'm definitely going to do it for WandaVision.
Right.
I deal with a lot of social stuff in work, so I have to. Otherwise, things just get spoiled right away.
Yeah.
But also, I could not sleep knowing that an episode was on. Like I can't be like, I'll catch it in the morning. No, I need to know.
Right.
As soon as it comes, like I literally at midnight when the Mandalorian was on, like 12:01, I was already watching it.
Yeah.
I was on it. So
even if I have to slap my face every 5 seconds to stay awake, I'm going to watch it. That's how excited I am. We have not had Marvel in over a year. I mean, where has this world gone to? But to have it come back in such a crazy way is going to be even more delightful. I mean, I don't even know how.
But potentially almost 9 hours, maybe?
Yeah.
At least 7.
Yeah.
I'd say hours of new content's coming in the next week. So, over the next couple weeks. So
it'll be good. It'll be really interesting to see what happens if it's very, very popular. Like, would they come back for a second season? I mean, they really have to have a good reason, but Disney would try to make them find a reason. I mean, it
really depends on how this plans is. Like, if the plan leads into Doctor Strange, and it would have to somehow go back to this. So that's why I think this is a one-off series.
Could be, but I just anything that is like, take for instance with the Mandalorian. Let's say that we didn't know how it was going to be. It was going to maybe be a one thing story, but then they introduced Baby Yoda, right?
Right.
And and he's such a cash cow that Disney is going to milk it for all it can.
But they're also smart. Again, the thing with Mandalorian is an open-ended story. We don't know. We know this leads into Doctor Strange. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And so there is a point where it dives into whatever's happening in Doctor Strange. And this doesn't look like it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier can probably go on forever. Whatever.
Right.
This seems like it's like a long movie because there's something going on, and I don't think the situation that they're in is sustainable to the point where if they milk it, they could damage it.
Yeah,
they know when to get in and out.
I don't even know if now I'm beginning to doubt that that Wanda is the one that's causing this stuff to be happening. I think this stuff is happening to them, and it'll be really interesting to figure it out. And I know that Catherine Hahn's character has something to do with it, so it's going to be. I mean, this is just my speculation. I don't know anything.
Right. I mean, all it is speculation at this point. But like, from what it looks like, just what's going on. The premise is what's going on, and at some point that's going to end. And I think that leads into what's going on in Doctor Strange. So,
and potentially the rest of the films, because if you think about it, we've heard like so much about the multiverse happening in other films, like Spider-Man.
Yep.
Yeah, and all of the characters that are supposed to be coming back from that, unless that is all rumor. But it's from very high sources that have gotten everything right so far that I don't know how wrong they could be. I mean, they would have to be totally wrong. I get maybe being partially wrong, but not totally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would just have to see what this story is, really, and see if it's something that can be prolonged, but I don't think if this is a hit, they're going to kill it, because that's what happened with Heroes. Heroes was a premise, and they didn't go with what they wanted because those characters became too popular, and they essentially they took one of the biggest stories of a series, and then literally the next season it went downhill because they did not. Those characters were never meant to go further than one season.
Right.
So there is a trap. Yeah. Sure, cash cow, but again, they didn't do it with Grogu. They kept that secret for so long, and they could have easily, as soon as that first episode aired, merchandise everywhere, but they did not. And so we had to wait like almost a year before we got baby.
And now we see him everywhere.
Right? So.
Yeah. But we love him.
And then also, we're not to see Grogu for maybe another year, like longer. So.
No, I think he's going to be back next season. I mean,
he's back next season, but season 3 is not going to be next fall.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So he's going to be gone for quite a while before we see him again.
Right.
So
but we have now enough merchandise to sustain us.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, if they were thinking just cash cow, they would have season 3 of The Mandalorian before the Book of Boba Fett.
Right. Well, then that would be really rushing things, and it's not. Yeah, you have to have it come out in its own time.
Right. Like I say, I think, yeah, there's a cash thing, but I think they also trust the creativeness of what's going on with the Marvel Universe, because they don't want to mess up the Marvel Universe.
No, you don't want to do that either. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, that it's going to have what happens in this is going to have further repercussions in what I think is not just in Doctor Strange, but I think in all the other films. That I think this whole multiverse storyline is what is going to be a major part of phase whatever we're in. I forget what phase we're in.
I think it's 4.
Yeah, I think we're in phase 4.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what happens. I'm just excited that we're getting Marvel back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it should be some fun times.
Okay, so Loki has been confirmed for a 2nd season, and I think it's another character that lends itself well to having more than one season.
Yeah,
because
that can work.
Yeah, he can just get into so many different situations and things like that. Like they could finish a storyline complete, like maybe this TVA storyline, but then have a completely other storyline for the next season. So yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Definitely, that sounds definitely more like. I mean, we don't know what's going on, but just from the premise of what we've seen, that one seems very open-ended as well.
Yeah, totally. I can't wait for that one either. It just, now that I'm so excited that we're just getting all this news about these Marvel shows that we've heard about for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And, WandaVision's coming out soon, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Oh, my gosh. Just can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. So there is a rumor that Elijah Richardson, who is from King Jack, will play Eli Bradley, the Patriot, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And so that, again, points to them developing a young Avengers with the Patriot and Ms. Marvel, Kate Bishop,
Cassie
Lang, probably Wiccan and Speed. I'm sure that Hulkling will be involved in this. Yes. So I'm excited about it. I mean, I think maybe Young Avengers will be phase 5. After this multiverse stuff happens, but I don't know. It's like it's Marvel completed an entire book and all its chapters and all of these things, and now the sky's the limit with where they are now. I mean, we don't know any of the points in which people are in. And yeah, gosh, it's just so crazy to think, like, because they shouldn't do all storylines all at once. Maybe eventually, like, develop these characters to come out, and then the Young Avengers for the next phase. Did you think?
I mean, it's not like we're getting all of a sudden a Patriot show. I think we're going to see the development of these characters through the shows they're in.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
Bring them in. I mean, like, who knows? I mean, like, the first 3 phases took 10 years to tell. The danger of doing a Young Avengers.
I'm going to sleep.
Hold on, my mom came in.
But
okay, let's just go. Matt, I'm not sure what you're doing.
But like, the danger of doing anything with the Young Avengers is the actors and their ages. So it's not something they can prolong if they're going with that route. So I think it's going to be sooner than later, because at some point they become too old to play these roles. That's the only thing about a young show,
right?
That you only get a certain lifespan, because at some point you can't have like a 30-year-old playing a teenager.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the Breakfast Club where you have 30-year-olds playing high school kids. Like,
how old is Haley Steinfeld? Steinfeld? I can't.
She's in her 20s.
Her 20s, okay.
Yeah.
So I think like the older Avengers are in their 30s. So, still has about 10 years to catch up to being a old Avenger.
Right, but I don't think they're gonna wait until like phase 5 to start or come out with a Young Avengers.
No, not to start it. Like, they're going to obviously develop them through phase 4, but I think to introduce a team of Young Avengers might be in phase 5. Yeah. So
I think by phase 5 they'll be a thing.
Right. Exactly.
The question is, do they go with a movie or do they do a series?
That is a good question.
With the, like, Ms. Marvel's going to be a interesting one, because she has fantastical powers. Like, her whole power set is going to be special effects.
Yeah.
And to see how that plays and how well it does might dictate that kind of thing, and then bring in Hulkling. Obviously, spoiler alert, he's a shapeshifter.
Yes. But they have introduced a squirrel, so we will know that
right.
He's from the squirrel.
Well, that technology's been around forever ish,
right.
But I know, like, Wiccan, we've had magic-y stuff before. Like Kate Bishop's basically Hawkeye, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ms. Marvel is going to be like anything that's the most expensive part of the Young Avengers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe Cassie.
Yeah.
But that's still kind of like, she got big. But then so does Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, it's exciting to see what they can do. If I can finally get a young superhero team that works for me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, moving on, Taika Waititi will be filming sequences for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot. The more that I hear about this attraction, the more exciting it sounds. And the fact that Taika Waititi is filming sequence for it is pretty incredible. Considering that also James Gunn is also very much involved in that project.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Just makes me long for the days of when we can go to Epcot.
I know. That's well, one day it'll all be done. I mean, we're gonna have our Marvel on both coasts pretty soon, and we'll be able to go to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, I can't remember where I saw like what's going on for that ride. I think I've seen pictures of some stuff from it, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it looks cool.
Yeah.
But just
I think it'll be really cool.
I mean, it looks like a new kind of experience. So I'm looking forward to what it is.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the last piece of news that we have is that there is a rumor that Joseph Gordon-Levitt has met with Marvel. And that'll be interesting. Who do you think that he could play? I can't even think.
Who he can play.
I know. I should have been prepared for asking this question.
Because then it's like, I don't know what kind of mindset he would be in. Like, is he in a mindset of like, I want to make a TV show, or is this going to be a feature film? Maybe he'll just be a villain on something, or who knows. But I like how a lot of DC people are kind of moving. Like his Batman is
Robin
is in what movie is he in? He's in something. Christian Bale, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's in a Marvel movie, right?
Christian Bale? No, he's in one. He's going to be in.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's in a Marvel. He's going to be in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, he's in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, so his Robin has moved over to Marvel.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I don't know who.
Now all we need is Chris Pine, and we'll have this whole stable of Chris's. Actually, as our Chris's are slowly fading away. No, actually, we're only losing one, Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, and only because he's like, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
We're gonna still have Hemsworth,
Pratt,
and you bring in, I don't know, Chris Pine.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't put out the realm of possibility that Chris Pine's going to join Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Just through his ties with Patty Jenkins.
Yeah, that would be really interesting if he joins it. So.
Or Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You never know.
Right.
So. Yeah, but I can't. There's so many characters they're not afraid to bring in characters from weird parts of this universe. So.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's youngish, but he's not kid.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to think further of who he could play because I can't think of anybody right off the top of my head.
To play young Hank McCoy. I don't know.
Yeah, you could actually. You could actually be Hank McCoy. I could see him as Hank McCoy.
Right. I mean, we're getting Fantastic Four. We know at some point the X-Men have to play. I feel like this is all going to also lead into mutant existence at some point in the next couple years. So.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be another. See, that's the thing is there's so much happening in the Marvel universe for this phase. I mean, they have to introduce the Fantastic Four. They have to introduce mutants. They have, then there's this whole thing about the multiverse. Then there are the Eternals, and then the development
the
of
Eternals.
Young Avengers. It's just like so much is happening, but for me and Feige, we trust. There must be some plan.
In the first one, they introduced us to super soldiers. They introduced us to the galaxy. They introduced us to Iron Man. They introduced us to Asgard.
Right.
All
different concepts. But just so much.
I mean, we already know the cosmic part. We already know the mystical part, right?
Yeah.
That's being expanded.
The big thing that I want to know is how they're going to introduce mutants. That's going to be the big thing.
Yeah. I feel like the Fantastic Four is going to be I think Reed Richards is going to discover it or something. I think I don't think they'll be mutants because that's the big thing. They aren't using mutants.
No,
but I feel like
their whole thing is that they got their powers through the cosmic rays.
Right, and I think that's going to lead to I still think that line from Endgame where they found Thanos and how the world went through when he snapped his finger, like Rocket says something like some energy thing the world has never seen before, engulfed whatever. Yeah, and I feel like that might tie into how there's no mutants now, but because of it.
Yeah.
Maybe that tied with the whole snap and everyone who got snapped away comes back and there's a mutant gene all of a sudden. Yeah. And then in a couple of years, we'll see the creation of mutants.
Yeah.
And I think Reed Richards might be playing into the science part of it of what's going on with these people.
Could be. I don't know.
And then him and Hank McCoy. That's where Jiggle comes in.
Yeah. There's no sci-fi bros.
He's Reed Richards.
Science bros. Not sci-fi bros. Science bros.
Because they haven't announced any cast for Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Maybe he's Reed Richards. Maybe he's Johnny Storm. Maybe he's Doctor Doom. Maybe he's...
Who knows?
Maybe he's Rob the Robot.
Right. Herbie the Robot.
Oh, Herbie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's something with an acronym. But
right. Herbie. Yeah.
Where did Rob from? Oh, Rob the Robot's from Nintendo.
Robbie. There is a Robbie the Robot.
And there's a Robbie. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have come to the end of our show. Please be sure to leave a comment and like this post. Share our post with your family and friends on your social sites. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you can find out when we're going to post something next. You can always reach us on Twitter. You can always reach us at podcast@castles-capes-and-clones. Leave us your feedback, both good and bad. We'd love to hear from you. You can reach me personally on Twitter. That's where you can reach us on Twitter, at Lojav, and on Instagram at Loren Javier. How about you, Rich?
You can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at R2Romasanta.
All right. Well, the opinions expressed on today's podcast are solely our own and do not represent the Walt Disney Company, its subsidiaries, or assets. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll catch you later.
Yep. Catch you on the flip side.